Hi, I'm Katarina, and in this video, we're going to go over the topic of should you do SEO in 2025? So it is now almost the middle of 2025, but we need to make sure if you are doing SEO that you are doing it the right way. If you are thinking about doing SEO for your website and to get organic traffic, then we need to discuss why that is and why that is your goal. So first of all, I have a lot of really in-depth SEO trainings on this video channel. I don't have millions of subscribers because I don't teach lies. I don't teach that you can get SEO overnight. I don't teach that you can use AI and in 5 minutes your website's going to rank on the top of Google. I just tell you the truth. And the truth is it's hard and it takes a long time and you have to have a lot of perseverance. So in today's, with all the changes that Google has made, how they have stripped bloggers and content creators of so much of their content, how they have taken Reddit, put it at the top of all the searches basically. All of these things that have been happening in the last few years with Google have turned a lot of people away from building their websites and from getting organic traffic. It's really difficult when you want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's one of the things I say to people. Number one, having a website is important because it's something that you own, okay? So if you promote your entire business on TikTok and all you have is TikTok, then something comes up like the government decides they don't want TikTok anymore. What are you gonna do if they went through with that threat? And if it was shut down, then you're gonna have to pivot and pivot very quickly. So that same analogy can be used for SEO with what Google did to all of us after years and years of trusting them and them begging us for content. And then they stole all that content, created their AI, and then created got together. I'm not even going to go there about the coercion and the extortion and just all the things. They have lost some lawsuits, in fact, over screwing over bloggers. So anyway, but that's just the way life is. So even though you own your own website, you don't own Google, so you don't own where Google's going to put your website. Same thing with Facebook. You can get a lot of traffic. You can build entire companies, businesses, and everything on Facebook. You can even sell them. You can even sell your Facebook page. You can sell your Facebook group. But again, you don't own it. It could get shut down. Hopefully it won't, but mistakes happen as well. So there's all these different reasons, but then it comes back to, so what do you do with your online marketing? Well, when you're going to go back to SEO on your website, we need to ask a few questions first before you decide to jump into it. Number one, what is it that you want your website to do? So that's the very first question you need to ask yourself. What is it that you want that website to do? It could be just a placeholder, like a business card online, and you really don't care where the traffic comes from, because maybe you're going to use it as like a business card. So that means when you go meet people at networking, you go shopping, you go meet clients, you hand them your business card, and on your business card, there's either a QR code or there's a link to your website on there, and they can go there to learn more about you, your service, your product, or whatever it is you're offering. That's one way to use a website. So that's at the very least, every single business owner, every single company must have a website just to do that. If that's like the bottom level of what a website should do. Okay. So that's the very least your website should do for you. And that's okay, because there are plenty of people, especially in the blue collar industry, especially if you're a roofer or you're an air conditioner guy or whatever, you're so busy anyway. And people are not, you're getting word of mouth. You're maybe doing door hangers. Maybe you're doing the ads in the little magazines that get sent out to people's homes. However it is that you're getting business, maybe you have your truck wrapped and that's bringing you a lot of calls. Whatever that is, that's fine, but you still need that website, right? And it needs to look good and etc., right? But maybe you don't care about getting the organic traffic. Now, maybe you want your website to satisfy the map requirements on Google Maps. Okay, so for Google Business Profile, you need to have a website in order for your business ever to be in the sandwich, which we call the 3-pack on the map. If you're in a business and your business is either in your home, in an office, or there's only a certain amount of businesses, virtual businesses can't have a Google My Business page. But as long as you can have a Google My Business page, then you need to have that set up. But then you need a website to attach to that to prove to Google that you do have a website, you're a human, and all this kind of thing. That helps with your ranking and getting on the map. All right, so that's another reason why you would want to have a website. Now, these are the lower tier ones, okay? So now the next reason you might want to have a website is because you want to create landing pages. And as you're building your email list, you're going to be sending people to those pages, to your offers, right? To things to buy or to sell, whether it's Shopify on your website or whether you're using Samcart pages like I do. By the way, my links are all in the description below. So if you are interested in any of these things, products that I'm talking about, you can just click the links in my description. So let's say you want to just drive that traffic to your website, and you're going to just be, maybe you're doing farmers markets and word of mouth, and then you're going to have your Google, your business profile. Well, now you're also going to want to send your social traffic. So now you're going to want to send your traffic from Facebook, your traffic from your email list, your traffic from Pinterest, from TikTok, from Instagram, from LinkedIn. So that's the next reason you have to have the website, right? So now this is like your third tier up. So there's going to need to be more work to be done on that website, more stuff you have to do, more requirements you have to meet in order, number one, for the traffic to convert, and number two, to have that traffic go to the right places on the website. You have the right content where it needs to be and that kind of thing. So you drive that traffic. Now, as you drive that social traffic and that direct traffic, which Google loves the best out of all traffic, they love it when someone types in your URL or clicks your URL on Facebook or something. That Google loves that because it proves again that you're a human, probably not a spammer, probably not a scammer. And so they start to build trust. You start to build what we call EEAT. So now that will help you in organic ranking. Okay. So then Google starts to think, well, it's a bots. It's just machines. So when I'm using those words, it's not humans. Okay. So when the bots are going, okay. So, well, those are mathematical equations too. They're not really talking to each other, but I'm just using this so you understand. So the bots are like, oh, okay. All this traffic is coming from Facebook, let's say, or from TikTok. Wow, they have a TikTok shop. Oh, people are actually buying from them on TikTok. Oh, they're an influencer on TikTok. Well, gee, when someone searches, let's just say it's summer tote bags. Oh, someone searches summer tote bags, then wow, they already have a whole bunch of people coming to their website about summer tote bags. So then you have more of a chance of Google then ranking you for summer tote bags. Okay, so they're not going to ever rank you for tote bags. That's Amazon's domain, right? So anyway, and Etsy. So that's how you start to gain some organic traffic without you having to do a lot of work for it. But you already did the work on the socials, or you are doing work on those socials. Okay, so that's very important to understand the distinction there. Now, even that takes a while. So you can run ads if you've got the money. Let's say you're a realtor and you're running ads and then you're driving those ads to your listings on your website. Okay, that's one way that you can build that social proof to Google. The problem with it is that's going to cost you a lot of money because you're going to have to do a lot of ads to get a lot of traffic over there. Okay. And it depends on the niche that you're in. If you're a realtor, you're not going to have as much traffic as someone who's selling summer tote bags or bathing suits, right? You're going to get a lot more traffic for e-commerce than you are ever going to for real estate. You're going to get a lot more traffic for pool repair, pool installation than even for realtors. So just remember the niche you are in, and don't believe people when they say that they can, if you give them $2,000, you're going to have overnight success. There's no such thing as that. So stop even listening to them. All right. And I'm sorry, it doesn't sound like, because I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to tell you what's happening in the SEO landscape, and you need to make an informed decision whether you want to jump in or not. All right. I have a lot of websites, and I have built many, many websites. I design websites. I own a virtual assistant company. We do SEO for many people. And it used to be super easy in 2010 and 2011 and 2013 and 2016. It was a piece of cake to rank, everybody. Not like that anymore. I used to be able to guarantee people that in 3 weeks, their content would be on page 1 in the top 3 spots. I also used to teach a course in 2012 that was rank 9 out of 10 spaces on Google, and I could teach people, or they would hire my VAs, and we would do a process where we could have you dominate. You would have every single spot. They would not be able to your website, but they would be all your properties, okay? We used to be able to do that. You can't do that anymore. No one can do that anymore. So when people tell you that that's possible, not possible. And with AI, no, it's still not possible. All right. So those are the different levels. Now let's talk about just purely organic traffic. Now, to have purely organic traffic from Google, you have to still do all those other things I just told you about. You got to get people to come to your website that are not on the internet and they're going to type it in. You got to have a Facebook page and write posts and have it linked to your website. You got to have, LinkedIn or whatever the different ones that are good for your niche. You have to have those and be active on those because Google sees that you're being active on those. So you still have to do all what I call all the below ones, right? And then you have to do more. So I have videos on my channel about if you're in real estate or if you're in e-commerce or if you're in a hobby niche. I have all those videos there that you can watch. They're very applicable today, even though I made those videos like a year ago, and a year and a half ago. They are totally relevant today. Now, Google just made a really big change again, like they do in March. And I will tell you, I had 2 websites that were totally destroyed by the Google algorithm updates in 2023. Now, today, after this March update, they are, sorry. I don't edit my videos, so you'll deal with that sneeze. Those now sites just now all of a sudden got thousands of views and getting organic traffic again. But we're driving traffic to them, first of all, from Pinterest and from Facebook. Those are the 2 places that we drive a lot of traffic to our sites from. Now, so one of those sites is like a pet niche. One of them is, and then the other one, and another one is my real estate sites. So I have lots of real estate sites, and those all rank. And then I have a site that we did a little case study on, 100% AI. And from the day I started it, it's been ranking, and it keeps ranking, and it keeps going higher and higher. And everything is AI. The content is AI. Is written by AI. The images are created by AI. Everything is done by AI. And it is to die. It's actually very good content. And it's stuff that a lot of people don't have. It's in a really popular niche that is very underserved. And now we're up to getting like 7,000 views a week already on that site. So I'm hoping to get it close to where I can put ads on it. But I'll be selling products that relate to that niche on my Etsy store as well as on that website, I might be making a Shopify site though, because it's kind of hard to do the WooCommerce. I don't really like WooCommerce on websites, so I'm not sure that I want to do that way. So I'm still trying to figure that part out. But I'm getting ready to monetize that site because it's been proven. We started it in the beginning of 2024. And it's just going up ever since then. And it was a slow ride at first because we didn't have a lot of content, but as we get more content, it gets more authority. Now, how do you do all that? Well, you have to write at least 1 article. So if it's real estate or a niche, you have to have a pillar post. You have to have a structure, and I teach all of that. But I'm just going to give you the very short term. You got to have a main category. Then you have to have 10 other categories that funnel up to that. But that main category page has to have at least 5,000 words of content and stuff that nobody can find other places on the internet. And then you only fill out 1 category at a time, and you need 10 articles in each one of those categories. I have a whole video training on how to do your EEAT and your about page, because before you do your home page, you do your about page. This is the way that I recommend people to build their website. You start with your about page. Your homepage is there, it just doesn't have content on it. You build your website live in front of Google, very important. And it goes against what all developers like, but it's extremely important. Build your website in front of Google. That means it should be published on day 1, even if nothing's on there. Your about page comes first, then you do your testimonial page, and of course your disclaimer, privacy, terms of service. Then you do your content page, okay? Then you do your services page, and your homepage is your last page you do. So then you're going to, and so you're going to do all of that. And then depending on your niche determines what else goes on that page. So that is how you have to structure it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want just organic traffic, remember you have to do all the below, but it's going to take you at least 18 months to rank. So this is the long game. And I love SEO. It's one of my favorite topics on the planet. And I'm super, super good at it. And I've trained our VAs to be super, super good at it. So we are very good. We know what we're doing, but it takes a long time. Do not expect leads for the first year. You most likely won't get them unless you're in a niche where you don't have any competition at all. Okay. But let's say you're in real estate. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. If you're competing against general terms, Zillow's always going to beat you every day of the week. So there you go. So now I ranked for a long time until a company came along that I guess builds tiny houses, all the tiny house terms. I kind of ranked for all of them until there was some national company, because Google will always look at the national companies before us little guys. They don't care about small businesses because we don't have the kind of money to advertise like the big companies do. So they're always going to favor the big companies. So that's, anyway. So I think I've lost a lot of traction in those keywords, but for 2 years, I ranked really, really high for those, and it got us a lot of business for regular homes, not even for tiny homes. It was like for land and for people to build duplexes, and people had all these other questions based off of that term. So that is, if you find a niche that Zillow is not dominating, that's where you want to kind of sneak in. So if you're doing luxury, that's another problem. Zillow does already dominate for luxury. So you have to find something within luxury that nobody is going after, and that's what you do. So it's the same thing if you have an Etsy shop. I teach you all the time on e-commerce. You got to be selling something that other people aren't selling, that they're underselling, or they're not, SEOing it properly, right? So that's what you have to look for. I wanted to go through this with you. It's just so important to understand that this is a long game. If you're going to commit to doing this, then you need to stay committed. Don't quit, because you will see results after a long time. And if you're doing it yourself, you're going to be giving up your time. It's going to take a lot of time. If you're doing, it took me for my first pillar post on my real estate site that I did, it took me 21 hours because as a realtor, you need gated content. So I need MLS data. I need, listing data. I need demographics. There's so many things you have to go and get, and you can't trust AI to get a lot of this stuff. So you have to go get it yourself. It took me 21 hours to write my pillar post, which was my main article before all of the 10 categories go there. So just to give you an idea of how long that actually takes. All right. So just think about that. Think about, do you have the time or do you have the money? Because if you don't have the time, you can pay us. Our VAs are $15 an hour right now as of this recording, and they can do this for you. But you need to understand, you're not going to be hiring them for a couple of months and then say, oh, I'm going to quit now because I didn't get any results. Because I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get results. So can you get a lead a year? Yes, you can get a lead a year, but you better be following my instructions and filling out the silo and the funnels the correct way. All right. So there you have it. Please subscribe to this channel, like my video. I'm going to be doing my business videos again. I have a Designing Create with Katarina channel that's different that I've been working on lately because I have an e-commerce stores now. And I've been doing some testing and we're doing some case studies to see, and we help a lot of people in e-commerce. So anyway, if you need any help in those areas, my links are below to our 365 things you can delegate to a VA today. Look forward to working with you.